Okay, I'm going to show you what I did to potentially fix all the problems I was having with my GoXLR installation. Um, I got to the point where, and I'm still not sure, I'm not still at that point where I was just going to return this and get a refund and then try to find some other interface that worked better. I really, like, I think I've seen and heard a lot of people say, I really want to like the GoXLR interface. It has a lot of benefit to it. I'm not a game streamer. I'm not, someone who live streams often. What I do is two things really. I will use the recordings that I voiceover for demos that I put together for my job, and then I'll also use it for video and voice conferences, so Zoom or WebEx, etc., just to have better overall audio quality. And so it's important to me that the mute button works, that the levels work on it, and that I can be kind of assured that once I have my levels set and checked, and that are going to stay the same and not change, that once I've dialed in the EQ, if I'm going to use that quality stays the same, my voice doesn't get muddier and muddier. And that's what I was experiencing with the GoXLR. I've had it for only a few days now, but what was happening, it would sound great. This thing sounds really, really good when you've got it dialed in. And I find that right after a fresh install, it was staying dialed in, and I had it right where I wanted it. And then after an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, it would start to drift. And I was kind of pulling my hair out, looking through the settings of both my Windows, so looking at the USB settings, at the power management settings, looking for processes like AV or anything that would be interfering or slowing it down, and then looking at the software itself. And the conclusion I came to was that the software, either GoXLR or some component that it relies on, there's some problem or bug in it. And then I saw in my system tray, and I'll show you, I can pull that up. So in my system tray, I found not only the GoXLR application when the application is running, but the GoXLR control panel. Now, the application, if you don't have one of these yet, it has to be open. The company says that everything, all the sound manipulation and the compression, EQ, gates, etc., that's all from the interface, the hardware device itself. And that's true from everything I can observe. However, you cannot get audio through your path to your final destination if the application isn't running. And so the application is in the audio path. So from your microphone through your mic cable down to the GoXLR hardware interface, through the USB, and then into your PC before it gets to whatever application you're sending your audio to. This application has some purpose. It stays in that path somewhere to do something, and I'm not 100% sure what that is, but it does present the ability for things to drift and get muddied and muffled and not where you want them. The other thing that I found is that sometimes when I start up the GoXLR interface, the hardware, and I have the mute button on, the channel's not muted, and there's no way to really tell that the channel's not muted unless you have a headset on and you're monitoring through the headset out jack on the hardware interface itself. The levels on that compared to the levels that you're recording at are nowhere near the same, and you're not hearing what you're recording. So you're hearing what is going into the interface directly from your mic, and then after the interface is done, the EQ and compression, but then it sends it over the USB to your PC, and that's where things get muffled. So if you're monitoring with a headset from the interface, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good. The only thing it could do for you, I think, is to let you know if when you have the mute button engaged for a channel, that channel is not actually muted. And I did see on some recordings, previous releases of the software, I would imagine the device itself looks the same. But on some previous release of software, that so if you're looking at the screen, this light bar series here that are on your sliders for your channel volumes, when you spoke or when there was audio going through that channel, these bars would kind of move up and down like a level meter, and that was, in my opinion, a good feature, because then you're getting a visual that, hey, I've got my channel muted, but I'm still seeing audio being recognized and measured on that channel. I wish they'd bring that back, because I think that would be a nice thing to have. So anyways, I digress. So I'll get back to where I was going with the purpose of this video. So if I look at the system tray here, I have both my app, but then there's this GoXLR control panel. If I open that up, what this is the ASIO configuration. So you have an ASIO driver, audio, source, input, output. And I'm not an expert in computer audio or audio in general, to be honest. What I did is I looked up, what is ASIO, ASIO, and apparently this is a way of kind of going around some of the Windows drivers directly to the hardware. So I think this is a more efficient path with less impedance between the interface and the actual sound card or the hardware that's on the PC itself. There are a lot of settings that I saw. I saw a few videos of this online and read some, and depending on whose interface you're using and which application you get exposed, some of these menu items look the same, but you may or may not have access to all of the configuration settings. So anyways, here we see buffer settings, right? Now the default for buffer settings when I've installed GoXLR software and the drivers is 512 samples. And then also safe mode was turned on, and I looked for safe mode. What is safe mode? I can't find it. To me, safe mode always sounds like slow mode. So why have safe mode on? I don't know. I don't know what it does. I turned it off. And then the 512 samples to buffer. The way I saw this described is that the higher you go in samples being buffered, the easier it is on your PC with the processor and the hardware to keep up. The lower you go, the less latency you have and better performance you get. And so what you should do, I believe, is play around with this and go 64, go 32, go 16. I went all the way down to 8 eventually. And if you can set it as low as you can, you know this by just every time you set it to a lower value, do some recording, have your PC doing typical operations that you would do during recording so you have a normal load on it. Then listen to it back. If you're not hearing a lot of clippiness or audio distortion or problems with that audio, then to me that's an indicator that your PC can handle that lower buffer for samples. And so that's what I've done. I turned off safe mode. I still don't know what it means. I haven't seen any ill effects for doing that. And I set it all the way down to this lowest value of a buffer size of 8 samples. Since I've done that, I've noticed considerable quality improvement in my recording. Now this recording is with a pencil mic that is a fair amount away from me, and I have my TV going right now. My furnace was on during this recording, so I am using a bit of a very mild sound gate, but it's more to keep my breaths hopefully from getting caught into this recording. This pencil mic has a supercardioid pattern, and it really blocks out the background noise well. When I was using the Blue Ember microphone, that sounded even better, right? So I could get this recording quality, I think, even better. But at the end of the day, if you have GoXLR and you're having a lot of issues with it, you can look at their videos. I went on to their support forum, which is kind of like an open source community feeling sort of thing that everybody has to get along, and you can't be frustrated with it, with the $270 GoXLR Mini you just bought not working. They actually banned me because I got a little frustrated, and I told the guy in not so many words that he was being kind of a jerk. And so don't do that, right? If you want to get continued support, don't make the moderators on that board at all upset, or you'll be banned apparently. But no big loss to me. I don't intend to have a product that I have to be forming deep and meaningful relationships with the support team over. in my home use, daily life. Not a big deal. So I'm going to give this a try. I still have a bit of a window with Amazon where I can return it if I want to. I did see while I was looking for some alternative devices, I saw something by Solid State Logic that I believe was recently released. It's the 2 and I think 2S maybe was the other one, or 2X, I forget. That looked pretty interesting. I mean, that doesn't have all the bells and whistles that are crammed into one device like the GoXLR, but it really, I think, has what I want. And that company's been around forever. And I think if they're going to put their name on a piece of audio equipment, while there might be bugs in their first release, I believe they have a reputation that they're going to be concerned with upholding. And I also have a feeling that the audio engineering history and heritage that they have is a good sign of trusting that product, even if it's not perfect right out of the gate, is going to be a lot more reliable. And that's just an opinion. I'm not trying to put down the GoXLR team. I think this is a great product. When it works, it is fantastic. And when it doesn't work, it's extremely frustrating. Anyways, hope this helps. If you can try that and it fixes your problem, the GoXLR, great. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I've got my fingers crossed because I don't want to return this and have to go through the process of getting something else all over again. I just want to move on.
Okay, so this is the second time that I've ordered a GoXLR Mini from Amazon, and it's the same exact problem. And they said it was new, but it clearly came in used with all like those, you see those little scratches and stuff on them. It came like in this bubble wrap thing. And the problem that I'm having is every time, any type of headphones that I plug in to this headphone jack right here, it makes like every, I would say like 2 to 3 seconds. And I've tried like a MPOW, it's a noise isolator. Let me see, I have one right here. And what that should do is like cancel out like any buzzing or anything like that, but that doesn't do anything. And I've tried different headphones, different USB outlets into my computer. I don't see what the problem is, but I'm definitely gonna return it again and try to just go with a different different amp or whatever. I wouldn't recommend them right now due to the fact that they keep going like temporarily out of stock, and the ones that are in stock, they say they're new, but they came in some bubble wrap, so they're not new, and they come with all these scratches and stuff. So yeah.
Un, deux, et c'est GoXLR.
Just got this, and it's got these really deep scratches. I had to actually double check to see if I bought this used. It says remove protective film, but there's nothing here. It's just this sticker. This literally looks like it's secondhand, and I thought I bought it brand new. So, yeah, I don't know. Do better.
Oggetto usato, trattato nemmeno troppo bene, fornito senza il cavetto USB, quindi niente, fornitura scadente, insufficiente nella consegna. Se dopo la prova non funziona, restituirò sicuramente.